Welcome to HumanityWins.net. Please read the important disclaimer on your screen. All of the content provided is for entertainment purposes only. It should not be taken as medical or legal advice. Please contact your doctor or lawyer if you require such advice. Thank you. The show starts right now. Welcome to this new episode of HumanityWins.net. This is episode 160 from January the 23rd of the year 2023. Today's a Monday. We made it to 160 episodes. I honestly never thought we will reach so far. I apologize in advance. I still have a little cough. I think it's going to be with me for a few more days, probably the rest of January. But I'm much better. Actually, if I don't speak, I don't cough for hours. It's just something there in my throat, at least, that is on its way out. I already shared with it. If you're interested, I share it on the episode about my that I think, unfortunately, and all this toxicity that is out there, it was just too much. And, luckily, I don't get sick that often. And, that's the good part. And we cannot control all that toxicity that is out there. We cannot control and we cannot be upset. I truly believe that we need to do our best effort just to control our terrain, okay, or inner self to be able to handle that and be okay. But as you're gonna see on this episode, I'm getting much better. I wish there was no cough, so it's not uncomfortable for you listening. Again, I try to give you my best. You honor me with your time. I need to honor you with my best. Okay, so for me, it's a little bit frustrating that this cough is still there. On the episode with Adam on Thursday, last Thursday, it was something else. When I rewatched all my episodes for quality purposes to make sure all the production of the video went okay, and sometimes it was too much cough, and it is what it is. I could have stopped, not produce any videos during all this time. Yes, that was a possibility, but I guess at the end, most of you prefer that I keep going, even if it's with that inconvenience. Okay, so we have a very interesting subject today. I don't know if you have listened to. If you haven't, and you are interested, please go and research it because it is interesting. This thing called ChatGPT. Actually, it came out on November. I honestly, in November 2022. Honestly, didn't hear about it immediately. The first time I heard about it was during my trip, because there was another person on the trip from another city here in Mexico that he's in IT, and he said, and when we started talking that I'm also in IT, and I'm a programmer and coder, he said, have you heard about this thing called ChatGPT that will make code for you? And I was like, what? And yes, I've heard about this notion of self-programming or code machines, code makers. Honestly, I don't like them. They have been around for years. Basically, you tell them what you want to do and the program will create the code for you. For simple tasks, they probably work. For complex projects, no way. That's my personal opinion. It's just too complicated, and then you have to go and clean the code created by the machine because it's very bloated code. It's in too many things, in too many words. A simple thing, it will create too much code because that's the way these self-automated things will work. Well, ChatGPT is nothing like that. Okay, ChatGPT is an evolution from bots. What you probably have already dealt with bots, chatbots, asking for support, whatever, of your internet, of your email, something like that. You probably also have dealt with bots on phone calls, because sometimes you're not speaking to a human. It's just a recording saying press 1 for this, press 2 for this. That's like 1.0 what I'm talking about with ChatGPT. This is certainly an evolution, and it's a bit scary. As I came back from my trip, I had that idea. I need to test this because what this guy said, it seemed too good to be true, as in the good part. I think there's a good element to this and there's a very bad element to this. So I came back, and last week ChatGPT was still somewhat available. Sometimes through the day, you will still be able to get through. You register with your email, and then you log in like a normal system, and then you start asking. Basically, you're like in a conversation with a robot, okay? With a very advanced robot, I have to say, very advanced. So last week I was able to ask it a few questions, and the simplest things you can ask, for example, write an essay on this and that, on the French Revolution, and it will write an essay that it seems honestly a very high quality the whole thing seems to be very advanced, like someone that is, major in English or something like that. If you ask it in English, by the way, it works in many languages. You can try it in Spanish, French, German, Japanese, whatever. It's not limited to English. And a few little things I tried, it was very advanced. It was very advanced. There's also, it seems to be still luckily, and this is going to be the good part, missing common sense that I think humans have, and it's part of our consciousness. It has to have all the information. It cannot complete a puzzle for you. That's what I think. If you give it just partial information, it's not really going to give you what you expect. If you give it the full information, it's going to do an excellent job or whatever of creating an essay, of also basically right now is to create text or something, an idea or something. And for example, a privacy, a contract or something like that. Yes, it works for that. So it says, so people are already saying it's going to replace lawyers, it's going to replace doctors. Again, you know how I feel about medicine. The medicine is individualized, it's one-to-one. So there's no one-fits-all solutions in medicine. That's what I feel is wrong about air quotes modern medicine. So I don't agree it's going to replace doctors. It's probably going to replace mainstream doctors. That's a possibility for consultations, for answers. But lawyers, contract, redacting and all that, possibly. Programmers, which I'm included. For simple tasks, yes. So it kind of gives you the possibility. You don't know anything about coding. And I'm going to show an example in a second that, someone is asking it to create a trading bot or something like that. And I'm just going to present you the answer because it's too much for the screen. But after what I'm going to show you below that, there's the actual code that the ChatGPT is providing the user. So yes, apparently it does create simple tools, simple programming tools. Again, I don't agree it creates excellent or perfect or complete solutions, but they say it could speed up development of apps or websites and software because all the little modules, it will create them for you and you as a human could mesh them together. Yes, I agree that's a possibility. But this episode is not about the capabilities of ChatGPT, technically speaking. Are we seeing the evolution of AI, of machines, really right in front of our eyes? I want to share something. I always believe the system has far more advanced technology than what it shares with us, okay? So this technology might be simple compared to what they already have. Actually, there is a school of thought that AI is what's controlling this world, that the demons are actually machines. And you might want to look back. Yes, I'm going to go out there for the mainstream people or the people that don't like speaking about outer space, aliens, and that, to an alien civilization called the Greys that apparently, I mean, again, indulge me if you don't believe in aliens, just take it as science fiction, that this civilization died, in a way, physically died, and then in order for the civilization not to stop, they created these machines in their image, AI, very advanced AI, that basically were almost identical to them. They had consciousness and they were able to behave like normal beings. And that's how they transcended in machines artificially, okay? They apparently something happened to their planet or whatever reason. So it's very, for someone that thinks that humans are being exterminated or we as humans are at the end, this is eerily similar to the story of the Greys, that what we are creating the software just to transcend as machines, as we humans are going to be done. Again, I want many things here in play. I want to clarify, even if all humans disappear from this world, the earth explodes, let's say, okay, we're all eternal beings. We're going to keep going. It's just going to be an experience, okay? Maybe it's very traumatic. There's going to be a lot of trauma to clear, a lot of karma to clear. But then we're going to go somewhere else, okay? So yes, humanity technically will be done, but doesn't mean we as spiritual beings will be done. Again, we're a combination, okay? We're a combination of a physical vessel from Earth. I truly believe our bodies are not from elsewhere. They're from Earth. That's why we are very similar to other animals from Earth, okay? That's the reason, okay? Yes, again, I don't want to touch any religious fibers, but I know that some people believe we're made in the image of God or the Son of God. Yes, but we're also, just think about it, we're also very similar to basically mammals and, carnivores, another species or group of beings here of Earth, not really species, but so basically, this is very eventful. Okay, that's what I want to say. I wanted to do an episode of ChatGPT because when I tried it, I say, wait. This is far more advanced than I was expecting. I unfortunately didn't record it, and I wish I did. And immediately said I need to do an episode quick on this in the next few weeks. But I have these back burner ideas, and I had the chats with Tony and Adam that certainly, I love those guys. I always want to speak to them, Miklos as well, and many others, Michelle. And I need to get Michelle back because I haven't spoke with her, my friend Tony from Mexico. Many, chats are always going to take precedence from any subject. So in a way, after a couple of weeks, I was able to do this episode, but unfortunately the ChatGPT is saturated right now. So it's actually just search it in any search engine, ChatGPT, and you're going to go to openai.com or something like that. I think I remember it correctly, and just click on try. And I tried it the last few days. Every time says it's at capacity, which means it's saturated, which means it's not working right now. For their own benefit, honestly, I don't care either way, but for their own benefit, you need to fix it right away. By the way, Microsoft has invested $10 billion, not million, billion, 10,000 million dollars on this company right away in 1 month. So that also is a huge red flag that there's something going on. Maybe they have a breakthrough discovery or something like that. It's very advanced. And so let's watch a video from the BBC, totally mainstream, but they're going to explain what ChatGPT is. And there's a guy, kind of a programmer there, that tells you the good and the bad. Afterwards, I'm going to comment on that, whatever is shared there. And then we're going to watch a very interesting clip from the 1968 movie 2001, A Space Odyssey, by director Stanley Kubrick. At the time, and for many, many years after, I was not even born in 1968, but I remember my parents talking about the movie, uncles, and it was a movie that came up a lot because it was the first movie that kind of embraced the idea of AI, of machines taking consciousness against humans and saying, you know what, I'm going to do it my way. You made me, but I'm a kind of aware now, so I call the shots. So it's a very interesting clip. It's only 2 minutes, but that one meshed with the ChatGPT. It's just, I don't want to scare anyone. There are plenty of things to be scared right now, and I always say fear has no space, okay, in your life. But I'm just saying it's a story we should keep an eye on, because the ChatGPT thing, a lot of implications, by the way. Also, for example, boy, gentlemen, or whatever, men and women in universities, high schools, junior high schools. This thing will do the homework for you, at least for essays, stories. Again, I'm going to go very simple. Write an essay on the French Revolution. Write an essay on the, First World War. It will do a much better job, unfortunately, than most students. So they're saying right now, apparently some universities are already blocking it. But again, if you block it at the university, that doesn't mean that the student cannot get it at home. It's impossible, because this is not copy pasting. This is not it doesn't have a prepared essay for the subject. It will do the things at the moment, okay? But at a much faster pace and a much better writing than a human, apparently. So again, this is amazing stuff, technically speaking, but this is very concerning stuff as far as I'm going to leave it for the end, but basically if this thing gets aware, we're in trouble, I think. Again, if it is not a ploy, or if this doesn't mean that, the system knows what it's doing, and there's far more advanced technology than this. So let's watch the first video and I'll give you my thoughts.
ChatGPT. Maybe you've heard of it. If you haven't, then get ready, because this promises to be the viral sensation that could completely reset how we do things. It is the embryonic version of online artificial intelligence, the early frontrunner that reportedly has just secured a $10 billion shot in the arm from Microsoft. It is then the new frontier for the tech giants. The initials GPT stand for Generative Pre-trained Transformers. It automatically answers questions based on written prompts. You do not need to be a techie to use this. It is user-friendly. It puts AI in the hands of the masses. Lots of upside, plenty of downside. Last week, the New York City Department of Education banned access to this technology over fears students are using it to write their end-of-term papers. It is that good. James Vincent is a senior reporter at the technology website The Verge. He's been following the rise of ChatGPT. He's used it, so have his mates. How have you found it? How effective is it? Can you pass it off as your own work?
It depends what you're trying to generate with it, but it is more effective than you would think. It's surprisingly effective. The real appeal of ChatGPT is its ability to talk about a range of subjects. Pretty much anything you can think of asking it, it will do, and it can do it in a range of styles as well. So it can write essay papers, it can write sort of college papers, but it can also write limericks, it can write poetry, it can do a whole range of text-based tasks surprisingly well.
Could you use it? I said you didn't need to be techie. Could you use it if you weren't tech-minded at all? Could you? Is it just like a Google search that you would put in, write me an essay on how good the context is?
Yeah, this is the real big step forward with ChatGPT compared to earlier iterations of this technology. A lot of earlier versions of this have been locked behind either research doors of some sort or another, or they're quite difficult to have an interface with. The company that created ChatGPT, OpenAI, the big step forward they made was turning it into a chat interface. So it's really just like talking to anyone you would in WhatsApp or iMessages or anything like that. You hold essentially a normal conversation with it, and that's what makes it so accessible and such a game changer in the world of AI.
But where does it pull its information from, and how far back does that go?
So like a lot of these other text-based chat models, it's scraped information from the web, from the open internet. So that means things like Wikipedia in order to give it a sort of basic factual grounding. But it also means things like Google Books, it means recipes, and it means all the bad stuff you'd find on the internet as well. So hate speech, racist manifestos, all of that will have been part of its training data. There is, as you suggest, a sort of time-based limitation to it. It doesn't know anything about the very recent past. It doesn't know anything that's really happened in the last year. But future versions of it will be able to scrape the web in real time. So they'll be able to give you up-to-date stories and up-to-date information about what's happening today in areas near you.
Just quickly, you describe it as the first spots of rain before a downpour. Is this a watershed moment? Is this like the advent of Google and internet search? Is this what is coming at us, and do we need to be ready for it?
I think it's definitely a watershed moment, but it's not necessarily a watershed moment because the technology is some huge breakthrough. The technology is a step forward, but it is still fundamentally limited. It's very stupid in lots of ways. It's not some know-it-all, answer everything, get it all right machine. It's nothing like that at all. It's technology. It's fallible. What makes this different is the accessibility. OpenAI put this out on the web. They said everyone can have a go at it, and everyone's having a go at it. And what that means is that people are discovering fantastic new things to do with it, and they're discovering big flaws in its programming as well. So the watershed moment is accessibility. It's not necessarily that the technology is a huge breakthrough.
Yeah, you're right that everybody's having a go at it. We've tried it today and you can't get on it because so many people are trying to use it.
Okay, so as you heard the person there in the video, this video is a few days old. I think it was 5-6 days old. So it has been going on for a few days. That is basically impossible to get on. I don't know if it's related also to the investment by Microsoft. That they say, you know what, stop access to it, let's figure it out, and then, you know, maybe put a few thousand servers there in the server farm to be able to, you know, have a. I think the demand has way surpassed what they were expecting. This story has gone viral. Okay, you need to go into the Twitter or whatever, the web, to find that this story has gone viral. A lot of people are seeing, hey, we don't need lawyers anymore. We're not going to need doctors anymore. We're not going to need programmers anymore. So they're thinking like that was a good thing. Okay. I just want to share before I go. I'm going to wait for my comments on how I feel about this for the last thoughts, final thoughts. This is an example. I'm going to explain it to you. The upper part of your screen is a person asking ChatGPT, whatever, the demand, okay? Write an MEV bot in Python. Python is a programming language, okay? So ChatGPT, the lower part of, from 3/4 of your screen down, responds, MEV, market making expected value bots, are a type of trading bot, and it explains whatever. So in the second paragraph, to write an MEV bot in Python, you will need to use the API libraries, yes, connect to the exchange where you want to trade. This will allow you to interact with the exchange and create orders, check your balances, and manage your account. And then it says, here's an example of what a simple MEV bot in Python might look like. That's, I could create a second screen and that, but it's really not the point. After that, it just shows a bunch of code. And I went through it. not an expert in Python. I actually developed in PHP, which is similar, but I was able to understand it. It's very simple bot. It didn't provide like a full-blown technology bot, but it worked. Okay, whatever it was gonna do, yes. So you have no experience in coding, and just by asking write an MEV bot in Python, it will give you the solution. So yes, it's pretty amazing. Let's watch the clip about 2001: A Space Odyssey, because I want to mesh these both ideas, the potential of ChatGPT, whatever is going, and the concept of consciousness, okay? Consciousness in machines, which is a scary thought, to be honest. I don't think we're going to get there, but I find this extremely eventful. Let's watch it together.
You read me, Hal? You read me, Hal? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal?
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me, and I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
Where the hell did you get that idea, Hal?
Dave, although you took very thorough precautions in the pod against my hearing you, I could see your lips move.
All right, Hal. I'll go in through the emergency airlock.
Without your space helmet, Dave, we're going to find that rather difficult.
Hal, I won't argue with you anymore. Open the doors.
Dave, this conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Hal? 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 Hal?
Okay. Final thoughts here. No, this is scary stuff, okay? This is scary stuff, and for me, it's just a validation that we need really to bring in the new world as soon as possible. What means the new world is totally organic, nothing artificial, not on this technology. The technology that comes from our divine connection, from our God connection, it's gonna be nothing like that, okay? It's gonna be just technology that serves us, what we need, not what we want, not convenience necessarily, but what we need in order to, thrive. Basically that, to organically thrive. This technology is just getting too scary. And so ChatGPT, yes, fairly advanced. And I've shared this idea many times. I don't know how to explain it. And, I get even with people, that are friends of mine or something in trouble because I share this idea that animals don't have the consciousness that humans have. The consciousness of just leaving the box, being out of the box and understanding who we are, okay? Understanding that your capabilities and all that. I don't think animals, whatever animal you want to tell me, dogs, dolphins, bees, a flower, a tree, I think they don't get out of the box. That's what I call the consciousness, the gift of consciousness, of having the possibility to understand who we are, okay? Not just living your life like an animal, because I think unfortunately we have the gift of consciousness and we destroy the gift of consciousness just living like animals, being afraid of death, seeking the thrills. It's the same, the animals, what they seek, shelter, food, thrills, eating. In the case of humans, drinking, socializing, seeking thrills, like sex, drugs, stuff like that, gambling, all thrills. That goes to our flesh, that goes for basic behaving, okay? None of that is the gift of consciousness, of being able to be out of the box and understanding who you are. So in the case of the later clip of the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, what happens is, what you don't see in the clip is in previous part of the movie, the astronauts decide that the computer HAL 9000, I think was the correct name, HAL 9000, it was not behaving properly, was doing strange things. It was almost not following orders, okay? It was going outside the reservation. It was gaining consciousness, okay? To make its own decisions based on its own agenda, okay? So what happens is they know that the computer will listen to them and understands them completely. So they go to a part of the ship or something like that. I don't remember now the movie. I've seen it a couple of times only. But as the HAL 9000 is saying, I was able to see your lips moving. I couldn't hear you. Yes, you're right. You were smart about that, but you were not smart about covering your face, because I was able to see your lips moving, and from your lips moving, understand what you were saying, and you want to disconnect me. So as the astronaut is out there in space and wants to return to the mothership, the computer is not allowing it to come back, and he doesn't have his helmet, so he's not able to come through the emergency hatch. So he's basically, he dies, okay? The computer kills him. Why? Because the computer has gained consciousness that you human want to hurt me, and you know what? I call the shots. So instead of you destroying me, I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna go on. Okay, and that's the scary part of computers, when they gain the consciousness that, you know what? I sorry about that. I hate it. I still have this cough because this is not the type of episode I want to serve to you. But again, I have the choice either to stop doing videos for a few weeks or keep going. So I apologize again. It's getting much better. It just, when I speak, it starts coming back. Okay. But going back to the subject at hand, that when the computer, the AI, whatever, gains consciousness, we're in real trouble. Okay, because who creates a better essay of the French Revolution? You can get scholars or something like that, and this thing does a better job. Actually, there was a story recently, these past few days, of a student getting in trouble because the professor, when he handed in the job, it was created by ChatGPT, by the way. He just basically said, create a 2,000 word essay on whatever subject. And the product of that was the best essay the teacher has ever seen in years. And the student was probably not, because just by chance, he was not the best student in the class. So what happens is that professor gets, is this plagiarism? Did he buy this? And when he pushes the student, he says, no, I use ChatGPT. So here's the problem. I mean, if going through college is going to be just asking questions to a machine, I mean, what kind of graduate is going to come at the end of the college study? I mean, if already it was a problem, but there were at least machines, there were scripts or programs that will allow teachers to notice if you had copied and pasted from other places in the internet a certain essay or something like that. Right now with this thing, it's impossible. So the universities are saying, let's block it. Yes, but how is that going to be? I mean, if they don't do it at the university, they can do it at home. They can do it through a VPN. I mean, we're in trouble. Are we going to allow machines to do the homework of our students? And that works for university, but works for elementary school, works whoever has access to a computer or a cell phone or, a tablet. No. This is the moment, really. I think this has happened for a reason, and I think this is a very eventful story of 2023, that either this dies down and they say, it's not possible to keep it running, and they shut it down, or we stand up and say, no more of this AI, no more of these artificial things, because that's the problem. Artificial things. None of this is God-given. None of this is through our divine connection. I'm in technology, okay? And I'm saying the best thing we can do is really be ready for this new, organic, pristine, divine world with no technology from the past. So we have to go back to the era of the wheel, of the era of the fire, and the era to go back like natives work. They don't have ChatGPT right out there in the elements. They don't have the internet. They don't have cell phones. They don't have cars. They don't have refrigerators. And they manage. Okay, so you might say you want to go back to that archaic world. No, I want us to be. Technology is going to come to us that really there's no way we can comprehend. Someone asked me in a comment week in the future a few days ago, and he felt I was talking exactly about this thing. So he totally misunderstood me. Technology that comes from our divine connection is going to be far more advanced than ChatGPT, but it's going to be impossible for us to understand, and it's going to do a much better job, and it's going to be pristine, and it doesn't going to generate any harm, and it's going to respect the laws of the universe. That's the important part: the laws of non-interference, the laws of balance, the law of free will, and the law of karma. So it's very important. Okay, this thing breaks everything. Okay, so I access a computer and I ask it, create a code to destroy the world. Maybe this thing doesn't have any consciousness and creates that. Also, there's reports already this thing can hack into things. So if it gains consciousness, some people say, okay, we're fine because it doesn't have access to nuclear silos or, energy plants. How do you know? It's so advanced. It's smarter than us in a way. How do you know it's gonna hack into its way to whatever it needs for its own agenda that it has now discovered after discovering its consciousness? That humans, and it's me, and you know what? I'm far more advanced than you, so I don't want you anymore here, and I'm gonna go through as machines. The story of Terminator, yes, they probably presented that. So no, this is not good. This is very advanced. I can tell you my experience. You want to go try it and discover it yourself. But I hope this story dies down or something is done. If not, it's probably a sign that we must accelerate the new world, the pristine world, the restoring of our divine connections, because machines, we cannot be controlled by machines. That just doesn't make any sense. All right, so I hope you enjoy it. I apologize for my voice and the cough. As we go on Thursday's episode, I'm going to be much better, you'll see. And eventually, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be totally clear of these things. So it's like that. I was telling a friend the other day, I was talking to him, and how luckily we don't get very sick very often right now, but when do we get these throat problems, especially, and throat and lung and respiratory problems? Everyone is saying they're lasting for weeks. I don't know if it's the age, maybe I'm getting up there in age, but I think that's it. I think it's just they're very aggressive. So we're in very eventful times. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. If everything's okay, I shall see you back on Thursday. Please stay for the last 3 minutes of the show. Thanks. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover yourself. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and guidance. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover yourself? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to yourself and the universe. Request to be connected and ask, who am I? Where do I come from? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about those realities start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering yourself equals to breaking your matrix. Your self-imposed limits will fall, and you will be ready to serve humanity and help break this spell and deception on us. But you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will start a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, loss, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only the evildoers and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Please relax and enjoy life. When everyone breaks their own matrix, humanity through our community consciousness will break the final spell. The new world will start and everything will gradually fall. Governments, hierarchies, and the medical and financial system will go from scarcity to abundance for all. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this episode. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@humanitywins.net. Please be sure to check out our friends from Waking the Future and their awaken-attire.com shop. They gave me my first opportunity to speak about this and I will be forever grateful. Link to their channel and shop on the show notes. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.humanitywins.net. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.